Hello guys, welcome to Ben 10 What If. So in this video, we will see what if Ben 10 was stuck as Alien X forever. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, The Endless Decision. The sky split open like somebody took a cosmic zipper to reality. Bellwood's residents scattered as energy beams slashed through downtown, cutting cars in half and turning asphalt into molten puddles. Ben Tennyson ducked behind an overturned bus, his breath coming in sharp bursts. "Really wish I'd stayed in bed today," Ben muttered, peering around the edge. The Omnitrix glowed on his wrist, ready for action. He couldn't get a good look at whatever was attacking, just flashes of movement too fast to track and waves of energy that felt wrong somehow, like they weren't supposed to exist in this universe. His phone buzzed. Gwen's face appeared on screen. "Please tell me you're seeing this," she said, her red hair whipping in the wind. Behind her, Kevin was loading something heavy into his car. "Kind of hard to miss," Ben said, wincing as another blast vaporized a streetlight 10 feet away. "What are we dealing with?" "No idea. The energy signature is weird. Nothing in the Plumber database matches it." Gwen's eyes glowed briefly. "It's like it's from somewhere else. Somewhere outside." "Outside what?" "Everything." Ben looked up as a figure materialized in the center of the destruction. It was humanoid but wrong, its proportions constantly shifting, its skin rippling with stars and void black patches. When it spoke, Ben felt the words more than heard them. "Benjamin Tennyson. Bearer of the Omnitrix. I have come for you." "Yeah, get in line," Ben said, sliding his finger across the Omnitrix. The familiar green holographic display popped up, cycling through alien forms. "Pretty sure I've got something that can handle you." Whatever this thing was, it packed serious firepower. He needed something with durability. Something powerful. He slammed his hand down as the dial showed Alien X. The transformation hit instantly. The familiar sensation of his body changing, stretching into something else, but this time with the added vertigo of his mind expanding into cosmic awareness. Black skin with white stars. 3 horns on his head. Power beyond imagination. And then, as always with Alien X, paralysis. Ben's consciousness found itself in the familiar starry void where Serena and Bellicus, the 2 personalities of Alien X, resided. Faces floating in darkness, they regarded him with their usual mix of annoyance and indifference. Motion to ignore Ben Tennyson's latest crisis, Bellicus, the voice of rage and aggression, boomed immediately. "I vote no," Ben said quickly. "Something seriously dangerous is attacking Earth, and we need to stop it. The problems of one tiny planet are insignificant in the cosmic scale," Bellicus argued. Serena, the voice of love and compassion, tilted her head. "But the boy seems genuinely concerned. Perhaps we should at least hear him out." "Thank you, Serena," Ben said. "Look, I don't know what this thing is, but it's tearing apart my hometown and specifically asked for me by name. If we don't stop it, people will die." Outside in the physical world, Alien X stood motionless as the entity approached. The creature studied the frozen Celestialcipian with interest. "So you choose the ultimate form immediately," it said, circling Alien X, wise. "But ultimately futile." In the void, Ben grew increasingly frustrated. "Guys, we don't have time for a debate. This thing could be destroying everything while we talk. All of time exists at once for celestial sapiens," Bellicus reminded him sourly. "There is no rush. Not for me. I've got family out there. Friends." Serena softened. "I propose we help Ben Tennyson defend his world from this intruder." "Seconded." Ben said immediately. "I vote against," Bellicus countered. "The universe is full of threats. We cannot address them all. 2 against 1, Ben said. Let's move. That's not how this works, Bellicus growled. All decisions must be unanimous. Outside, Gwen and Kevin arrived on the scene. Kevin absorbed the metal from a nearby street lamp, his skin transforming into gleaming steel. Gwen's hands glowed with mana energy. "Ben's gone Alien X," Gwen said, eyes widening. "This must be serious." "Great timing," Kevin muttered. "Now he'll just stand there like a cosmic statue while we do all the work." The entity extended a hand toward the motionless Alien X. Energy crackled between them, connecting to the Omnitrix symbol on Alien X's chest. "This power. Yes. Perfect for my needs." Gwen threw up a mana shield. "Get away from him." Kevin charged, fists raised. "Nobody messes with Tennyson except us." The entity flicked a casual hand, sending both flying backward without taking its attention off Alien X. The connection between it and the Omnitrix symbol grew brighter. In the void, Ben suddenly doubled over in pain. "Something's wrong. It's attacking the Omnitrix." Serena and Bellicus looked alarmed for the first time. "Impossible," Bellicus said. "Nothing should be able to affect us in this form." "I feel it too," Serena said. "Something is reaching in." "How?" Ben clutched at his chest where the Omnitrix symbol would be in physical form. "I don't know, but we have to do something. Now." Bellicus finally looked concerned. "Motion to defend ourselves from this intrusion." "Seconded," Serena said immediately. "Agreed." Ben shouted. With consensus reached, Alien X's paralysis broke. The black figure raised a hand, cosmic power swirling around it. With a single gesture, reality warped around the entity, freezing it in place. "Nice try," Ben said through Alien X's mouth. "But nothing beats a Celestialsapian." The entity struggled against the reality-warping restraints. "You don't understand what you are." "I understand enough to know you're done here." Ben raised Alien X's other hand, preparing to banish the creature to another dimension. The entity's form suddenly pulsed, releasing a wave of energy unlike anything Ben had ever encountered. It slammed into Alien X, and more importantly, into the Omnitrix symbol. Pain exploded through Ben's consciousness. In the void, he screamed as green electricity arced through the starry space. "What's happening?" Serena cried. "The Omnitrix," Ben gasped. "It's being corrupted somehow." The entity broke free from Alien X's restraints as the Celestialsapian clutched at the Omnitrix symbol, now sparking and glitching with green energy. "Perfect," the entity said. "The convergence has begun." Gwen struggled to her feet, hands blazing with mana. "Leave my cousin alone." She launched a barrage of energy bolts that passed harmlessly through the entity's shifting form. Kevin charged again, this time leaping to slam both fists into the creature's back. They passed through like it was made of smoke, but the distraction was enough for Alien X to recover slightly. Ben fought through the pain. Motion to counterattack. Seconded, both personalities said together, equally concerned about their shared existence now. Alien X's power surged. Stars appeared around his hands as he reached out and seized reality itself, bending it against the invader. The creature hissed and recoiled. "Your resistance is unexpected. But ultimately meaningless." It raised both arms, and the air between them tore open, revealing a swirling vortex of stars and darkness. "The seed is planted. The change is begun. We will meet again, Benjamin Tennyson, when you understand what you are becoming." The entity backed toward the portal. "Oh no you don't." Ben forced Alien X forward, reaching for the creature. "You don't get to just leave after trashing my town." The entity slipped into the portal, but not before Alien X grabbed its arm. For a split second, they connected, and information flooded into Ben's mind. Images of vast cosmic spaces between universes. Beings made of pure energy. A plan spanning millennia. And at its center, a figure that looked like Alien X but somehow greater, more evolved. The entity yanked free and vanished into the portal, which snapped closed behind it. Alien X stumbled back, the Omnitrix symbol on his chest sparking violently. In the void, Ben fell to his knees. We need to transform back. Now. Motion to return Ben Tennyson to human form, Serena said quickly. Seconded, Bellicus added. Agreed. Ben shouted. They reached for the transformation, but nothing happened. The void itself seemed to shudder, green energy crackling through the starry space. Something's wrong, Ben said, panic rising. I can't change back. Outside, Gwen approached cautiously. Ben. Are you okay? Alien X stood frozen again, the Omnitrix symbol flickering erratically. Something's wrong with the Omnitrix, Kevin said, returning to his normal form. I've never seen it glitch like that. Gwen reached out with her mana, trying to sense what was happening. His energy is changing. It's like the Omnitrix and Alien X are fusing together somehow. Inside the void, Ben was frantically trying to access the Omnitrix's controls. This shouldn't be possible. The failsafes have been compromised, Bellicus interrupted. Something about that entity's energy was incompatible with the Omnitrix's systems. We are becoming permanent, Serena said, her voice tinged with awe and concern. No, no, no. Ben shouted. I can't be stuck as Alien X forever. We can barely agree on anything. I'll be trapped in this void while my body stands like a statue outside. The void trembled again, and suddenly a new presence appeared, a holographic projection of Azimuth, creator of the Omnitrix. Ben Tennyson, the small, frog-like alien said, his tone grave. The Omnitrix has registered a critical system failure. Azimuth. Thank goodness. You have to help me change back. The projection flickered. This is not a direct communication. It is an emergency protocol I programmed into the Omnitrix for catastrophic failures. If you are seeing this, the Omnitrix's transformation matrix has been irreversibly altered. Irreversibly? Ben felt cold dread spreading through him. There has to be a way to fix this. The Celestialsapian DNA is unlike any other in the Omnitrix, Azimuth's recording continued. It exists partially outside normal spacetime. If something has caused it to become the permanent state of the Omnitrix, you must adapt. The connection between your consciousness and the Omnitrix is now permanently bound to the Alien X form. This can't be happening, Ben whispered. There is one possibility, Azimuth's recording said. If you can achieve perfect synchronization with the Celestialsapian personalities, you may gain enough control to function normally, despite being unable to transform. Good luck, Ben Tennyson. You're going to need it. The projection vanished, leaving Ben alone with Serena and Bellicus in the void. Perfect synchronization. Ben looked between the two cosmic faces. How are we supposed to manage that when we can't even agree on simple things? Perhaps this situation requires a new approach, Serena suggested gently. For once, I agree, Bellicus said. Our existence is now permanently linked. If Tennyson remains paralyzed, so do we. So you'll help me? Ben asked hopefully. We will, try, Bellicus said grudgingly. Motion to allow Ben temporary control of our shared form, Serena proposed. Bellicus was silent for a long moment. Agreed. Temporarily. Thank you, Ben said. I promise I'll find a way to make this work for all of us. Outside, Alien X suddenly moved, looking down at his hands as the Omnitrix symbol stabilized, still embedded in his chest but no longer sparking. Ben. Gwen approached cautiously. Is that you in control? Yeah, Ben said, his voice carrying the strange echo of Alien X, but we've got a serious problem. Kevin crossed his arms. When don't we? I'm stuck, Ben said. That thing did something to the Omnitrix. I can't change back. Gwen's eyes widened. You mean? I'm Alien X now. Permanently. Ben looked down at his starry black hands. And I have no idea what to do about it. The plumber headquarters beneath Bellwood was buzzing with activity. News of Ben's situation had spread quickly through the organization, and everyone was scrambling to find a solution. Magister Max Tennyson, Ben's grandfather, stood in the center of the command room, his usual calm demeanor strained. Have we heard back from the Galvan? He asked as Gwen and Kevin entered, flanked by Alien X's towering form. Nothing yet, Gwen said. We've sent messages to Azimuth, but you know how he is. Max turned to his grandson, still struggling to process the sight of the cosmic being where Ben should be. How are you holding up, kiddo? About as well as you'd expect, Ben said, his voice reverberating strangely. Bellicus and Serena are letting me drive for now, but we had to agree I'd consult them on any major decisions. It's like having two backseat drivers who can grab the wheel at any time. And the Omnitrix? Max asked, eyeing the symbol embedded in Alien X's chest. Fused to me, as far as I can tell. Whatever that thing was, its energy corrupted the transformation matrix. Azimuth had an emergency recording that basically said tough luck, figure it out. Max sighed. That sounds like him. We've got our best techs analyzing the energy readings from downtown. If we can figure out what that entity was, maybe we can reverse what it did. One of the plumber scientists approached, nervously glancing up at Alien X's imposing form. Sir, we've completed preliminary analysis of the readings. The energy signature doesn't match anything in our database, but it has similarities to the energy given off by celestial sapiens. So whatever it was, it came from the same place they did? Kevin asked. Not exactly, the scientist said. More like, between places. The reading suggested existed in the spaces between dimensions. Inside the void, Bellicus stirred. The forge. Ben's attention split between the physical world and the void. What's the forge? A place between realities, Bellicus explained reluctantly. Where cosmic entities sometimes gather. No mortal should be able to access it. So how did our attacker get from there to Earth? Ben asked. That, Serena said, is a very troubling question. In the physical world, Ben relayed this information to the others. Apparently our mystery guest came from someplace called the Forge. It's between dimensions, and nothing from our reality should be able to go there. Max's frown deepened. If this entity can move between dimensions at will, it could return anytime, anywhere. We need to prepare, Gwen said. Ben, can you sense anything about where it went or when it might come back? Ben concentrated, trying to access Alien X's cosmic awareness. The starry void expanded around his consciousness, showing glimpses of distant places, possible futures, parallel worlds. It's overwhelming, he said. I can see so much, but I don't know how to focus it. Perhaps I can assist with that, said a cultured British voice from behind them. Everyone turned to see Professor Paradox stepping out of nowhere, his timepiece gleaming in his hand. The time traveler looked at Alien X with interest. Fascinating development, Benjamin. Though I must say, the timeline is now considerably more complicated. Professor Paradox, Max greeted him. I take it this situation is significant enough to bring you here. Quite, Paradox said, circling Alien X thoughtfully. A human permanently merged with a celestial sapien. Unprecedented. Dangerous. Potentially wonderful. Wonderful isn't the word I'd use, Ben said. Can you help me change back? Paradox stopped circling. I'm afraid not. What's happened to you exists outside even my ability to alter. Time and space bend around celestial sapiens, they're immune to temporal manipulation. Great, Ben muttered. But, Paradox continued, I can tell you that your transformation is no accident. The entity you encountered has been planning this for quite some time. Planning what? Kevin demanded. To trap Ben as Alien X. What's the point? That, Paradox said with a mysterious smile, is the question you should be asking. Why would something want the power of a Celestialsapian bound to human consciousness? What makes that combination special? Inside the void, Serena and Bellicus exchanged concerned looks. The boy doesn't understand what he truly is now, Bellicus said. He will learn, Serena replied. We must guide him. Outside, Ben tried to process everything. So I was targeted specifically. This wasn't random. Very little in the multiverse is truly random, Benjamin, Paradox said. Particularly when it comes to beings of your potential. A plumber rushed into the command center. Sir. We're picking up massive energy spikes downtown, same signature as before. Max turned to the monitors as they filled with readings. It's back. Or it never fully left, Paradox suggested. Ben felt a pull inside him, Alien X's cosmic senses detecting the disturbance. I can feel it. It's not exactly the same entity, but similar. Like they're connected somehow. You should investigate, Paradox said. But be cautious. You're still learning to control your new form. I'm going with you, Gwen said immediately. Kevin nodded. Me too. Ben looked at his friends, gratitude welling up. Even in this alien form, some things remained constant. Thanks, guys. Ben, Max said, placing a hand on Alien X's arm. Remember, you're still you, no matter what form you're in. Ben nodded, the motion strange in Alien X's body. Let's go see what our interdimensional friend wants for an encore. Downtown Bellwood was eerily empty, evacuated after the earlier attack. Police barricades blocked major intersections, and plumber agents in disguise directed remaining civilians away from the area. In the center of the destruction stood another entity, similar to the first but smaller, its form less stable, constantly shifting between solid and vapor. Alien X descended from the sky, Gwen following on a platform of mana with Kevin beside her. I'm guessing you're related to our earlier visitor, Ben called out. The entity turned, its face, if it could be called that, rippling with stars. Offspring of the architect. Vessel of power. You have come. Not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, I'm here, Ben said. Ready to send you back wherever you came from. You misunderstand. The entity's voice warped and distorted. I am messenger. Herald. The change has begun in you. Soon you will understand your purpose. Inside the void, Bellicus growled. It speaks in riddles to appear profound. Typical lesser cosmic entity. Behavior. I sense deception, Serena added. It is hiding its true intentions. Ben mentally nodded. Guys, I might need your power for this one. Can we work together? Motion to grant Ben Tennyson access to our defensive capabilities, Serena proposed immediately. Seconded, Bellicus said. But offensive powers remain under consensus only. Fair enough, Ben agreed. In the physical world, Alien X raised a hand, cosmic energy swirling around it. Last chance to explain yourself clearly. What change? What purpose? The entity seemed to smile, though its face was constantly shifting. The seed planted in your Omnitrix will bloom. The Celestialsapian bound to human will become the bridge. The architect requires this. Who is this architect? Gwen demanded, her hands glowing with mana. And what does he want with my cousin? To remake what is broken, the entity said. To fix the fundamental flaw. Kevin had absorbed the material from a nearby fire hydrant, his body now gleaming metal. Anyone else getting tired of the cryptic garbage? The entity suddenly shot forward, moving faster than they could track. It stopped inches from Alien X, reaching for the Omnitrix symbol on his chest. The process must be accelerated. Ben reacted instinctively. With Serena and Bellicus granted defensive powers, he created a shield of cosmic energy that pushed the entity back. Motion to counterattack, Ben said quickly in the void. What specifically do you propose? Bellicus demanded. Containment, Ben said. We need to trap it for questioning. Agreed, Serena said. Seconded, Bellicus added after a moment's hesitation. With consensus reached, Alien X extended both hands. Reality warped around the entity, space itself folding to create a cosmic prison. Now we can talk, Ben said. Who is the architect, and what does he want with me? The entity struggled against its containment. The architect sees the broken nature of reality. The separation of dimensions. The isolation of universes. You will be the key to reunification. I'm not helping anyone remake reality, Ben said firmly. That's not how this works. You have no choice. The entity's form began to pulse erratically. The seed is planted. The convergence approaches. Even now, you change. Gwen stepped closer, studying the entity with her mana-enhanced senses. Ben, something's wrong. Its energy is becoming unstable. Witness, the entity said, its body beginning to glow brighter. The first sign. The entity suddenly exploded in a burst of cosmic energy that overwhelmed even Alien X's containment. The blast radiated outward, passing through everything it touched. Motion to protect everyone. Ben shouted in the void. Both personalities agreed instantly, and Alien X created a shield around Gwen, Kevin, and the surrounding area. The energy washed over them harmlessly, but when it touched Alien X himself, the Omnitrix symbol pulsed violently. Pain shot through Ben's consciousness. Inside the void, green energy crackled and spread, transforming the starry space. For a moment, Ben glimpsed something else in the void, a vast chamber filled with machinery that seemed both organic and mechanical, with a central pillar where a figure stood observing. The architect, Ben whispered. Then the vision was gone, and the pain subsided. The entity had vanished completely, leaving only scorch marks on the pavement. Ben. Gwen rushed to Alien X's side as he sank to one knee. What happened? I saw something, Ben said. Someone watching us. And the void where Bellicus and Serena exist, it changed for a moment. Changed how? Kevin asked, returning to human form. It was like looking at another place entirely. A place with technology I've never seen before. Inside the void, Serena and Bellicus seemed shaken. This should not be possible, Bellicus said. Our domain is inviolate. The Omnitrix's corruption is spreading, Serena observed. It's affecting us more deeply than we realized. Ben focused on the two personalities. What does this mean? It means, Bellicus said grimly, that whatever this architect did to you is continuing to evolve. You are not simply stuck as Alien X, you are becoming something else entirely. Something neither human nor celestialsapian, Serena added. Something new. Ben relayed this to Gwen and Kevin, who exchanged worried looks. We need to get you back to Plumber HQ, Gwen said. Grandpa Max needs to know about this, and maybe Paradox can make sense of what you saw. Ben nodded, rising unsteadily to his feet. The power of Alien X was incredible, but right now he felt vulnerable in a way he never had before. Whatever was happening to him went beyond simply being stuck in an alien form, it was changing him at a fundamental level. Let's go, he said. And let's hope Paradox has some actual answers this time. Professor Paradox studied the readings from Ben's Omnitrix symbol with a frown. The Plumber lab had been cleared of all personnel except for Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Max. Even in the spacious laboratory, Alien X's presence seemed to dominate the room, his starry black form drawing all eyes. Fascinating, Paradox murmured. The Omnitrix isn't just locked on Alien X's form, it's evolving, integrating celestialsapian DNA more deeply than ever intended. Can you fix it? Max asked. Paradox straightened up. This goes beyond simple repair, Max. What's happening to Ben is unprecedented. The barriers between his human consciousness and the Celestialsapian personalities are thinning. What does that mean for me? Ben asked, the concern evident even in Alien X's resonant voice. It means you're becoming something new, Paradox said. Not just Ben Tennyson wearing Alien X like a suit, but a true hybrid consciousness. Inside the void, Ben felt Serena and Bellicus stir uncomfortably. We are becoming connected, Serena said, sounding both fascinated and concerned. I can sense your emotions more clearly now, Ben Tennyson. And I yours, Ben replied, surprised to realize it was true. The formerly distinct personalities were starting to feel like extensions of himself rather than separate entities. This is unnatural, Bellicus growled, but even his protest lacked its usual force. Outside, Ben tried to process this new information. So I'm not just stuck as Alien X, I'm turning into some kind of new being. Precisely, Paradox said. And that, I believe, is exactly what this architect intended. A being with the reality-altering power of a Celestialsapian, but guided by human emotion and perspective. A weapon, Max said grimly. Or a tool, Paradox corrected. For reshaping reality according to the architect's design. Gwen sat down heavily in a nearby chair. This is bad. Really bad. No kidding, Kevin said. Someone's trying to turn Ben into a cosmic reality warping puppet. Ben felt anger rising inside him, both his own and, surprisingly, Bellicus's. Not happening. Nobody uses me like that. I admire the sentiment, Paradox said, but you should understand what you're up against. From what you've described and what I know of interdimensional entities, this architect exists in the spaces between realities. Such beings often view our universe, all universes, as flawed constructs in need of correction. Correction how? Max asked. That depends on the entity, Paradox said. Some believe universes should never have separated in the first place. Others think the multiverse has fundamental design flaws. Whatever this architect believes, he sees Ben as the perfect instrument to implement his vision. Because I have human creativity with Celestialsapian power, Ben concluded. Precisely. Paradox nodded. Celestial sapiens are powerful but constrained by their dual nature and rigid decision-making process. Humans are adaptable, intuitive, emotional. Together. A perfect reality warping machine, Kevin finished. Ben looked down at his starry hands. So what do we do? How do I stop turning into whatever the architect wants me to be? Paradox's expression turned grave. I'm not certain you can, Benjamin. The process has already begun. But perhaps instead of fighting the transformation, you should focus on maintaining your own will, your own perspective, ensuring that whatever you become, you remain fundamentally Ben Tennyson. And how exactly am I supposed to do that? Ben asked, frustration evident in his voice. A smile quirked at Paradox's lips. By remembering who you are. By keeping close to those who know you best. He gestured to Gwen and Kevin. Your humanity is your strength, Ben. Don't lose sight of it. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the Plumber base. Max rushed to a console, checking the alert. Multiple energy signatures matching our interdimensional visitor, he reported. They're appearing all over Bellwood. Ben straightened up. More messengers. Or something worse, Paradox said. The architect may be growing impatient. Inside the void, Ben turned to Serena and Bellicus. I need full access to our powers. No debate, no vote. People are in danger. The two personalities were silent for a moment, then Serena spoke. I sense your determination. Your concern for others. Admirable, if foolish, Bellicus added. These humans mean nothing in the cosmic scale. They mean everything to me, Ben countered. And like it or not, we're stuck together. So you can either help me protect my world, or we can stand around debating while people die. Another moment of silence. Then, surprisingly, Bellicus spoke first. Motion to grant Ben Tennyson temporary full access to our powers for the defense of his world. Seconded, Serena said immediately. Thank you, Ben said, genuinely grateful. I promise I won't abuse this trust. In the physical world, Alien X's eyes glowed brighter. I have full access to Alien X's powers, Ben told the others. Temporarily, at least. Good, Max said. Because we're going to need everything we've got. These signatures are bigger than the one you faced earlier. Ben nodded to Gwen and Kevin. Let's go. Be careful, Paradox warned. Remember, whatever these entities are, they're part of a larger plan. Try to capture one if possible. We need answers. Will do, Ben said, then hesitated. Professor, if I can't reverse this transformation, if I'm stuck as this hybrid being forever. Paradox placed a hand on Alien X's arm. Then you'll adapt, as you always have, Benjamin. And you won't face it alone. Ben nodded, drawing strength from the professor's confidence. Let's go save Bellwood. Again. The sky above Bellwood had turned an unnatural purple, streaked with black tears that resembled cosmic fractures. From these tears emerged creatures similar to the entity Ben had encountered earlier, but larger, more solid, their forms less prone to shifting. They floated above the city, extending hands from which beams of energy shot down, not destroying buildings but changing them, transforming matter in strange ways. Alien X hovered above the central district, watching as a skyscraper's concrete and steel morphed into crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with inner light. They're not attacking, Gwen observed from her mana platform beside him. They're transforming things. Remaking reality on a small scale, Ben realized. Practice runs. Kevin, who had hitched a ride on Gwen's platform, pointed to the largest tear in the sky. That one's different. Bigger. Ben focused his cosmic awareness on the anomaly. Something's coming through. Something big. Inside the void, Serena and Bellicus were unusually quiet, watching with Ben as events unfolded. The sense of connection between the three consciousnesses had grown stronger. Ben could feel their concern mirroring his own. From the largest tear emerged a figure that dwarfed the others. Where they were merely humanoid, this being was massive and elaborate, with multiple limbs and a head that seemed to contain galaxies. When it spoke, the air itself vibrated. Benjamin Tennyson. Vessel of Convergence. Your transformation progresses well. Let me guess, Ben called out. You're the architect. Merely an extension. A projection. The architect cannot fully enter your reality. Yet. Good. Tell him to stay out. We don't want any cosmic renovations here. The being seemed amused. You speak from ignorance. You cannot comprehend the flaws in your reality. The separation. The isolation. Universes that should flow together, locked apart. Yeah, well, maybe they're separate for a reason, Kevin shouted up. Ever think of that? The projection turned its massive head toward Kevin. Primitive thinking. Expected from primitive beings. Gwen's hands glowed brighter with mana. If we're so primitive, why do you need Ben? The Celestialcipian bound to human consciousness creates the perfect bridge. Power without limitation. Creativity without constraint. The projection's attention returned to Ben. You will remake reality as it should be. Not interested in the job, Ben said firmly. Now call off your friends and fix my Omnitrix before I have to get serious. You misunderstand your position. The projection raised multiple arms. You have no choice in this matter. The seed is planted. The convergence approaches. You transform even as we speak. The Omnitrix symbol on Alien X's chest pulsed suddenly, sending pain through Ben's consciousness. Inside the void, green energy crackled more intensely than before, and again Ben glimpsed that strange chamber with its central pillar. Ben! Gwen cried, seeing Alien X double over in pain. I'm okay, Ben managed, straightening up with effort. Just another episode. Each one strengthens the connection, the projection said. Soon you will see clearly. Understand fully. Your true purpose. I already know my purpose, Ben said, raising his hands as cosmic power swirled around them. Stopping guys like you. With the full power of Alien X at his disposal, Ben struck. Reality warped around the projection, space-time bending to his will. The smaller entities were instantly frozen in place, their transformative work halted. But the projection of the architect merely rippled, the attack passing through it with minimal effect. Impressive control, it said. Your integration progresses faster than anticipated. Integration? Ben didn't like the sound of that. The Omnitrix. The Celestialsapian DNA. Your human consciousness. Becoming one. Soon you will shed your limitations entirely. Inside the void, Ben felt a strange ripple. The starry space around them was changing, becoming more structured, with geometric patterns forming in the darkness. What's happening? Ben asked Serena and Bellicus. Our domain is transforming, Serena said, her voice tinged with awe. Becoming, ordered. This is wrong, Bellicus growled. The void should be chaos. Potential. Not. Architecture. Outside, the projection extended a hand toward Alien X, witness the future. A beam of energy shot from its palm, connecting with the Omnitrix symbol on Alien X's chest. Instead of pain this time, Ben felt a rush of possibility. His consciousness expanded beyond anything he'd experienced before, beyond even Alien X's awareness. He saw the multiverse, countless universes existing side by side, separated by barriers that suddenly seemed arbitrary, needless. He saw how they could connect, flow together, share energies and possibilities. He saw himself at the center of it all, the linchpin, the bridge. Ben. Gwen's voice seemed distant. Ben, snap out of it. With effort, Ben pulled his consciousness back from the cosmic vision. I saw. What could be, the projection finished for him. What should be? No, Ben said, shaking his head to clear it. What you want. Not what should be. Inside the void, the geometric patterns were growing more pronounced, more rigid. Ben could feel Serena and Bellicus's distress as their domain continued to change. We must resist this, Serena urged. It seeks to remake us in its image. For once, we are in complete agreement, Bellicus said. Ben focused on their shared resistance, drawing strength from it. In the physical world, Alien X's form glowed brighter as Ben pushed back against the architect's influence. I don't know what you're trying to turn me into, Ben said, but it stops now. He reached deep into Alien X's power, guided by the unified purpose he now shared with Serena and Bellicus. With a sweeping gesture, he tore the energy beam connection, then extended his hands toward the sky. Motion to seal the interdimensional tiers, Ben said in the void. Seconded, both personalities said in unison. Power flowed through him, raw cosmic energy directed by single-minded purpose. The tiers in reality began to close, sealing shut one by one. The smaller entities trapped on Earth wailed as their connection to their home dimension was severed. The projection of the architect watched impassively. Impressive. But futile. What has begun cannot be stopped. The seed grows within you. Watch me stop it, Ben said through gritted teeth, directing his power toward the projection itself. This time, his attack had more effect. The massive form shimmered and destabilized, its edges becoming less defined. Your resistance was anticipated, the projection said, its voice weakening. It changes nothing. The path is set. I make my own path, Ben shot back. You will understand. Soon. The projection began to fade. We will meet again. When you are more. With a final flicker, the projection vanished. The smaller entities, cut off from their home dimension, began to dissolve, their energy dispersing harmlessly into the atmosphere. Ben sank to one knee in midair, suddenly exhausted. Using Alien X's power with such precision and purpose had taken more out of him than he expected. Ben. Gwen guided her platform closer. Are you okay? Yeah, Ben said, straightening up. Just tired. Really tired. You did it, Kevin said, looking around as the sky returned to its normal blue. You kicked their interdimensional butts. For now, Ben said, looking down at the Omnitrix symbol on his chest. But the architect was right about one thing, something is happening to me. I could feel it when I was connected to that vision. I'm changing. Let's get back to the base, Gwen said. Grandpa and Paradox need to hear about this. Ben nodded, following as Gwen steered her platform toward Plumber headquarters. Inside the void, the geometric patterns had faded somewhat, but hadn't disappeared entirely. The structure imposed on the chaos remained, subtle but undeniable. This isn't over, is it? Ben asked Serena and Bellicus. No, Serena said softly. I fear it has only just begun. Max Tennyson studied the holographic display showing the scan results of Ben's transformed state. The data scrolled by, complex and concerning. The integration is accelerating, he said. Looking at Professor Paradox. Whatever that entity did to Ben during their connection has catalyzed the process, Paradox finished. The barriers between Ben's consciousness and the Celestialsapian personalities are breaking down even faster now. Ben sat across from them, Alien X's imposing form somehow managing to look worried despite the lack of expressive features. What does that mean for me? Paradox turned to him. It means the distinction between Ben Tennyson and Alien X is becoming less clear. The three separate consciousnesses are merging into something new. Inside the void, which now contains subtle geometric patterns throughout its starry expanse, Ben could feel the truth of this statement. Serena and Bellicus no longer felt like separate entities he had to negotiate with, but more like aspects of his own mind, still distinct, but connected in ways they hadn't been before. I can feel it, Ben admitted. We're more synchronized now. I don't have to debate every action. That would normally be a positive development for someone stuck as Alien X, Paradox said. But in this case, I fear it's precisely what the architect intended, preparing you to be the perfect tool for his purposes. Gwen, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. Ben saw something when he connected with the architect's projection. A vision of the multiverse. Not just a vision, Ben said. More like, an understanding. I could see how all the universes relate to each other, how they could be connected. And how did that make you feel? Paradox asked sharply. Ben hesitated. It was beautiful. Overwhelming. For a moment, it seemed to make sense. Like the separation between universes was artificial. That, Paradox said grimly, is the danger. The architect isn't just changing your form, he's changing your perspective. Making you see reality as he does. So I'm being brainwashed? Ben asked, alarm evident in his voice. Not exactly, Paradox said. More like, having your consciousness expanded in a specific direction. Being shown a new way of seeing that makes his goals seem natural, even necessary. Kevin, who had been pacing nearby, stopped. So how do we fight that? How does Ben resist having his brain rewired by some cosmic architect? By holding on to who he is, Max said firmly. By remembering what matters to him. Your humanity is your anchor, Benjamin, Paradox added. Your connections, your values, your perspective, these are what make you Ben Tennyson, not just a vessel for Celestialsapian power. Ben nodded, but inside he felt uncertain. The vision he'd experienced had been so compelling, so beautiful in its way. Was that really just manipulation, or had he glimpsed some greater truth? Inside the void, he sensed Serena and Bellicus watching him, feeling his doubt. The mortal speaks wisdom, Bellicus said, surprising Ben. Our strength has always been in separation, motion and countermotion, thesis and antithesis. Balance, Serena added. Not unity without distinction. Ben considered their words. You're saying total integration would be a bad thing? It would make us something other than what we are, Serena said. Neither Celestialsapian nor human, but a tool shaped for another's purpose. And no one uses us, Bellicus said firmly. Ben smiled internally, drawing strength from their unified resistance. Agreed. In the physical world, he refocused on the conversation. So what's our next move? How do we stop the architect? First, we need to understand what he truly wants, Paradox said. Merging the multiverse sounds poetic, but the practical reality would be catastrophic, universes existing by different physical laws crashing together. Total chaos, Max agreed. Or perhaps something else entirely, Paradox mused. A new reality built from the pieces of the old. With the architect as its master. Not happening, Ben said firmly. A plumber rushed into the room. Sir. We're picking up unusual energy readings from the null void projector. Max was immediately alert. What kind of readings? Similar to the interdimensional signatures from earlier, but different somehow. It's like something's trying to come through from the other side. The null void isn't an ordinary dimension, Paradox said, looking concerned for the first time. It's a pocket dimension specifically designed to contain dangerous entities. So if something's coming through from there. Kevin began. It's nothing good, Gwen finished. Ben stood up. Let's go check it out. They rushed to the null void chamber, where several plumbers were monitoring the projector. The device was active despite no one operating it, the swirling red vortex of the null void portal pulsing erratically. It activated on its own 5 minutes ago, one of the technicians reported. We've tried shutting it down, but the controls aren't responding. Something's forcing its way through, Paradox said, studying the portal. Something that shouldn't be able to do that. Ben stepped forward, focusing Alien X's senses on the portal. There's something familiar about the energy signature. Inside the void, Serena and Bellicus stirred uneasily. A presence approaches, Serena said. One that should not exist in your reality. Before Ben could ask what she meant, the portal flared brightly. The red vortex turned black, filled with stars, a mirror of Alien X's own appearance. Then a figure stepped through. It looked like Alien X, but wrong. The proportions were slightly different, the starfield within its black skin moving in unnatural patterns. Most disturbingly, instead of the Omnitrix symbol on its chest, there was what appeared to be a mechanical device embedded directly into its form. Benjamin Tennyson, the figure said, its voice eerily similar to Alien X's but with a metallic undertone. The architect sends his regards. Everyone in the room tensed. The plumbers raised their weapons, though all present knew they would be useless against a Celestialsapian. Who are you? Ben demanded. The figure tilted its head. I am like you. Or rather, what you will become. A bridge between realities. A tool of convergence. You're working for the architect, Ben said. I am an extension of his will, yes. The figure looked around the room with apparent curiosity. How limiting this single reality must feel to you now. How constraining. Inside the void, Ben felt a strange resonance, as if the figure was somehow connected to him. Bellicus, Serena, what is this thing? A perversion, Bellicus growled. A Celestialsapian corrupted and bound to machinery and purpose. It should not be possible, Serena added. Our kind cannot be controlled this way. The figure stepped closer, ignoring the plumbers. You feel it, don't you? The connection between us. The resonance. We are of a kind, you and I. I'm nothing like you, Ben said firmly. Not yet, the figure agreed. But soon. The seed grows. The convergence approaches. It extended a hand toward Ben. I can show you what awaits. The glory of your purpose. Stay back, Max ordered, stepping between them despite knowing he could do nothing against such a being. The corrupted Celestialcipian merely waved a hand, and Max froze in place, not paralyzed, but locked in a moment of time. Grandpa. Ben and Gwen cried simultaneously. He is unharmed, the figure said. Merely paused. This conversation is not for others. With another gesture, everyone in the room except Ben froze in the same manner. Ben felt anger rising within him, his own, and that of Bellicus and Serena, now flowing together in perfect harmony. Release them, he demanded, cosmic power gathering around his hands. Now. You fear what you do not understand, the figure said calmly. The architect foresaw this. Your resistance. Your attachment to these limited beings and their limited reality. They're my family. My friends. They are anchors, keeping you from your true potential. The figure's voice softened. I was like you once. Afraid. Resistant. But when I saw the truth, the beauty of convergence, the glory of a unified multiverse, I embraced my purpose. And became a puppet, Ben said. The figure shook its head. A partner. A creator. Do you not tire of defending this small world from endless threats? Imagine instead creating a reality where such threats cannot exist. Where the flaws that allow evil and suffering are simply redesigned. Inside the void, Ben felt a pull, the vision he had experienced earlier trying to reassert itself, showing him again the beauty of connected universes, the elegance of a redesigned reality. But alongside it, he felt the resistance of Serena and Bellicus, and his own stubborn determination. That's not how it works, Ben said. You don't get to decide that reality has flaws just because you don't like how it's designed. That's not fixing things, that's forcing your vision on everyone else. Such limited thinking, the figure said, disappointment evident in its voice. But expected, at this stage of your transformation. You will understand, in time. What I understand, Ben said, stepping forward, is that you and your boss are trying to use me. And nobody uses Ben Tennyson. With that, Ben unleashed Alien X's power. With perfect harmony between himself, Serena, and Bellicus, he struck at the corrupted Celestialcipian with the full force of cosmic reality manipulation. The figure staggered back, clearly surprised by the strength and precision of the attack. Impossible. Your integration is not complete. You should not have such control. Turns out teamwork beats brainwashing every time, Ben said, pressing his advantage. Motion to remove this thing from our reality. Seconded, Serena and Bellicus said in unison within the void. Alien X's power surged, reality bending to Ben's will. The corrupted Celestialcipian was lifted off its feet, pushed back toward the still open null void portal. You cannot stop what is coming, the figure said, its voice distorting as it struggled against Ben's power. The seed is planted. The transformation has begun. You will join us, or you will be unmade. Not today, Ben said, making a final pushing motion. The corrupted Celestialcipian was forced back into the portal, which snapped shut behind it. Immediately, everyone in the room unfroze, looking around in confusion. What just happened? Max demanded, finding himself in a different position than he remembered. Our visitor didn't want an audience, Ben explained. So he paused all of you while we had a chat. A chat about what? Gwen asked. Ben looked down at the Omnitrix symbol on his chest, which had pulsed briefly during his use of power but was now steady again. About what the architect really wants. Not just to merge the multiverse, but to redesign it. Remove what he sees as flaws. Which would be anything he personally doesn't like, Kevin guessed. Pretty much, Ben confirmed. And he wants to use me to do it. Paradox stepped forward, his expression grave. And now we know he's already succeeded at least once, creating that corrupted Celestial Sapien as his servant. But how? Max asked. From everything we know about Celestial Sapiens, they can't be controlled like that. Unless, Paradox said slowly, the architect found a way to bypass the need for consensus, removing or subjugating the personalities to leave only the power, directed by a single will. That's what he's trying to do to me, Ben realized. The integration of our consciousnesses, it's not supposed to be balanced. He wants to subsume Serena and Bellicus, leaving just their power under my control, or under his control through me. And the seed they keep mentioning. Gwen said. Some kind of progressive change to the Omnitrix and to Alien X's form, Paradox concluded. Preparing you to serve as the architect's tool. Ben clenched his fists. Not happening. Ever. Inside the void, he felt Serena and Bellicus's approval and support. They were working together now, united in purpose despite their fundamental differences. Not merged, not losing their distinct identities, but cooperating in perfect harmony. And in that harmony, Ben realized, might lie their salvation. I think I know how to fight this, he said suddenly. The architect wants integration without distinction, a merging that erases individual identity. But what if we aim for something else? Harmony without loss of self. Paradox's eyes lit up with understanding. Yes. Instead of fighting the transformation entirely, which may be impossible at this point, you direct it toward a different outcome. Exactly, Ben said. Not becoming the architect's puppet, but something new. Something balanced. Can you do that? Max asked. Control how this transformation affects you. I don't know, Ben admitted. But with Serena and Bellicus working with me instead of against me, I think we have a chance. You'll need time, Paradox said. Time to strengthen your bonds, to define this new balance before the architect's influence can corrupt it. And I'm betting he's not going to give us that time, Kevin pointed out. No, Ben agreed. He's going to keep coming after me, trying to accelerate the process in his direction. Then we need to be ready, Max said decisively. The plumbers will establish a defensive perimeter around Bellwood. Gwen, see if you can set up magical wards to detect interdimensional intrusions. Gwen nodded. I'll call Charmcaster and Hex. They might have knowledge that could help. Kevin, work with the plumber techs, Max continued. We need weapons that can at least slow down these entities, even if we can't stop them entirely. On it, Kevin said. And me? Ben asked. You, Paradox said, need to focus on strengthening the right kind of connection with Serena and Bellicus. Not merging, not erasing distinctions, but true cooperation. Ben nodded. Inside the void, he could feel the two personalities listening attentively. Motion to work together to resist the architect's influence, he proposed. Seconded, Serena said immediately. Agreed, Bellicus added. No outside force dictates our existence. In the physical world, Ben felt a new strength flowing through him. We're ready, he said. Whatever the architect sends next, we'll face it together. Max placed a hand on Alien X's arm. That's the Ben I know. No matter what form you take, you're still my grandson, and still a hero. Ben nodded, drawing strength from his grandfather's confidence. The path ahead was uncertain, the transformation continuing inside him still dangerous and unpredictable. But for the first time since being trapped as Alien X, he felt not just resignation but possibility. Whatever he was becoming, he would ensure it remained true to who he was, Ben Tennyson, hero of Earth, protector of reality as it should be, not as someone else thought it should be remade. The architect thinks he's creating the perfect tool, Ben said. But he's about to learn what happens when the tool decides to rewrite the blueprint. Chapter 2, stars in their eyes. 3 weeks felt like forever when you couldn't sleep. Ben hovered cross-legged above his bed, the stars on his black skin twinkling softly in the darkness. The bedroom around him looked exactly as it had the day of his transformation, posters of his favorite bands, soccer trophies on shelves, clothes scattered across the floor. His mom refused to clean it, insisting that, when you change back, you can pick up your own mess. If only changing back was an option. This is pointless, Bellicus grumbled in the void. Celestial sapiens don't need rest. But Ben is still partially human, Serena countered. His mind needs the comfort of routine. Ben sighed, the sound echoing strangely through his cosmic form. I can hear you guys, you know. Their voices had become clearer over the past weeks, less like separate entities and more like thoughts in his own head, but with distinct personalities. The geometric patterns in the void had stabilized, creating a space that felt more structured but still allowed for their individual presences. Midnight snack. Serena suggested. Your mother left smoothies in the fridge. Ben floated down and phased through his bedroom door without opening it, one of the perks of his new form. The house was quiet, his parents finally asleep after another day of alternating between worry, scientific curiosity, and forced optimism. In the kitchen, Ben opened the refrigerator with a thought, the door swinging wide as a smoothie floated out toward him. Another perk, telekinesis made everyday tasks effortless. This is still weird, he muttered, absorbing the smoothie directly into his cosmic form. He could taste it somehow, the sensation more like a memory of flavor than actual physical experience. His phone buzzed on the counter. Kevin's face appeared on screen. Tell me you're not just floating around your room again, Kevin said without preamble. I'm not just floating around my room, Ben replied. I'm floating around my kitchen. Kevin rolled his eyes. Exciting life, Tennyson. Want to do something actually useful? I got the equipment working. Ben perked up. The deep space scanner. It's ready. As ready as it'll ever be. Asmatha's designs plus my mods equal our best shot at finding more celestial sapiens. Kevin's face shifted closer to the camera. Unless you're too busy with your smoothie diet. I'll be there in 5. Ben hung up and floated back upstairs, leaving a note for his parents even though he could return before they woke up if needed. The night sky greeted him as he phased through his ceiling and ascended. Flying was second nature now, he simply willed himself upward and his cosmic form responded. Stars stretched above him, no longer distant points of light but places he could perceive in detail, even see potential timelines branching from. I still don't understand why you seek others of our kind, Bellicus said. They rarely interact with lesser beings. Because they might know something about what's happening to me, Ben replied. And about this architect. Or they might simply destroy you for being an abomination, Bellicus suggested cheerfully. Always the optimist, Bellicus, Ben muttered, accelerating toward Kevin's garage. Kevin's place looked more like a mad scientist's lab than an auto shop these days. Equipment salvaged from crashed spaceships sat alongside modified plumber tech and Earth computers. In the center stood a massive circular device that hummed with energy. You're late, Kevin said without looking up from his control panel. I'm literally 2 minutes early, Ben replied, floating into the garage. Early is late for someone who can manipulate time and space. Kevin finally turned, wiping grease from his hands. Still rocking the cosmic look, I see. Not like I have a choice. Hey, some guys would kill to be permanently transformed into an all-powerful space god. Kevin shrugged. You get used to being different. Trust me on that. Ben smiled internally. Kevin's matter-of-fact attitude was refreshing after weeks of his parents' concerned glances and Gwen's relentless research. So this thing can find celestial sapiens? Ben asked, examining the device. Theoretically. It scans for the specific energy signature you give off, then searches for matches across our galactic sector. Kevin flipped a series of switches. Asmath says it's a long shot. Celestial sapiens usually exist outside normal spacetime. Until they don't, Ben said. Like that one that showed up for the Universal Sports Competition. Exactly. They can enter our reality when they choose to. Kevin made a final adjustment. Or when something forces them to, like what happened with you. The device powered up, projecting a holographic map of the galaxy. Points of light indicated stars, planets, asteroid fields, the familiar geography of their corner of space. Now we add your signature, Kevin said, pointing to a circular platform. Stand there and do your cosmic thing. Ben floated to the platform. What cosmic thing? I don't know. Glow. Think cosmic thoughts. You're the Celestialsapien. Inside the void, Serena chuckled. He means access your cosmic awareness. Right, Ben said, focusing inward. The connection to cosmic awareness had gotten easier with practice. Ben opened himself to it, letting the power flow through his form. The starfield on his skin brightened, and the scanner hummed in response. That's it, Kevin said, watching readings spike on his console. Signature isolated and. He paused, frowning. Huh. What's wrong? Ben asked, maintaining the energy flow. Nothing's wrong, but. Kevin adjusted some controls. Your signature isn't exactly like the reference data for celestial sapiens. It's similar, but there's something else mixed in. The Omnitrix, Ben guessed. Maybe. Or maybe it's just your human side showing through. Kevin shrugged. Whatever it is, it makes you unique. Easier to track, at least. The scanner projected the signature outward, searching the galaxy for matches. After several minutes, a single point of light appeared, pulsing green. Got something, Kevin said. Looks like it's in the Chrysalis system. Chrysalis? Ben searched his cosmic awareness. That's not far. Maybe a few light years. A few light years is still a major trip for normal people, Kevin pointed out. But I guess you can just think yourself there now, huh? Ben hesitated. I could, but you'd rather take a ship like old times. Kevin grinned. Already prepped the Rust Bucket 3. Gwen's meeting us there in 20. Have I mentioned you're the best friend a cosmic entity could have? Save it for when I need a favor that requires rewriting reality. Kevin powered down the equipment. Let's go find you some star-skinned relatives. The Rust Bucket 3 sliced through the darkness of space, its engines pushing the modified plumber ship well beyond standard specifications. Kevin had rebuilt it from scratch after their last adventure left the previous version scattered across 3 star systems. Gwen sat at the research station, surrounded by holographic displays showing ancient texts and diagrams. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, dark circles under her eyes betraying many sleepless nights. You look worse than I do, Ben said, floating beside her. And I'm literally a void with stars. Very funny, Gwen said without looking up. Some of us still have finals week to worry about. Plus all the extra credit cosmic research. Gwen finally glanced at him. Someone has to figure out what's happening to you, doofus. These texts from Legerdemain mention celestial sapiens, but the translations are tricky. Ben peered at the displays. The symbols twisted and changed as he looked at them, as if responding to his presence. They know you're watching, Gwen explained. Magical texts from Legerdemain are semi-sentient. Creepy but useful, Ben commented. Find anything good? Maybe. Gwen pulled up a diagram showing a celestialsapien silhouette with energy flowing through it in complex patterns. This describes something called the forging, apparently a process where celestial sapiens can evolve into different forms. Inside the void, both Bellicus and Serena stirred with interest. The ancient forging, Bellicus muttered. I thought that was merely legend. What is it? Ben asked them. A transformation beyond transformation, Serena explained. When a Celestialsapien's purpose becomes so focused that their very nature changes to accommodate it. Ben relayed this to Gwen, who quickly made notes. That could explain what the architect is trying to do to you, she said. Forge you into something specific. A tool with a purpose. Yeah, but what purpose exactly? Ben wondered. Kevin called from the pilot's seat. Chrysali's system coming up. Tracking the signature to the fourth planet. The view screen showed a ringed gas giant with dozens of moons. The scanner highlighted one moon, a small, rocky world with a thin atmosphere. That's where our Celestialsapien friend is hanging out, Kevin said. Weird choice. It's barely habitable. For creatures that don't need air, food, or warmth, everywhere is habitable, Ben pointed out. Fair enough, Kevin conceded. Taking us in for landing. As they approached the moon, sensors began to register anomalies. Gravity fluctuated wildly. Time seemed to flow at different rates across the surface. Reality itself appeared to bend and flex. Definitely a Celestialsapien, Gwen said. The fabric of reality gets thin around them. Or something else entirely, Kevin muttered, wrestling with the controls. We've got company. The scanners suddenly registered multiple new signatures approaching, not celestial sapiens, but ships. Large ones. Can we identify them? Ben asked, moving to the view screen. Kevin enhanced the image. 3 massive vessels shaped like elongated hexagons approached from behind the moon. Their hulls were covered in what looked like display cases or containment units, each glowing with different colors. I recognize those ships, Gwen said grimly. Collection vessels. They belong to the collectors, Kevin finished. Intergalactic big game hunters who specialize in rare species. And they're after our Celestialsapien, Ben realized. Or they picked up your signal, Kevin suggested. A human Celestialsapien hybrid would be the crown jewel in any collection. Inside the void, Bellicus scoffed. These creatures think they can capture a Celestialsapien. Arrogance beyond measure. Yet they pursue us with confidence, Serena noted. Perhaps they have means we don't understand. The largest collection ship accelerated toward them, weapons. Systems activating. They're scanning us, Kevin reported. And they don't look friendly. A transmission cut through their comms, displaying a humanoid figure with pale blue skin and elaborate silver armor. Implants circled his eyes, and collector's trophies adorned his shoulders. Unidentified vessel, the figure said, his voice cultured but cold. You have intruded on a collector guild operation. Withdraw immediately or be considered hostile. We're just passing through, Kevin replied. On a scientific mission. The collector's augmented eyes narrowed. Your vessel contains a Class Omega entity. Our scanners confirm it is at least partially Celestialsapien. Such beings are under claim by the guild. Under claim? Ben moved into view of the transmission. I'm not something you can claim. I'm Ben Tennyson. Recognition flickered across the collector's face. The shapeshifter wielder of the Omnitrix. Your reputation precedes you. His expression turned calculating. The guild has long desired a sample of your transformative technology. Now you appear as the rarest form in your arsenal, seemingly unable to change back. Most fortuitous. Look, Ben said, we're here looking for another Celestialsapien. We mean no harm. As are we, the collector replied. Though our intentions differ. I am Grand Curator Vex, and I will be adding both Celestial Sapiens to my collection today. The transmission cut off abruptly. Well, that went well, Kevin said, activating defensive systems. What's the plan? Run or fight? Ben considered their options. The collector's ships outgunned them significantly, but running would mean abandoning whoever or whatever was on that moon, possibly their only lead to understanding his condition. We need to get to that moon, Ben decided. I'll create a distraction. You two land and find our Celestialcipian friend. And then what? Gwen asked. Then we improvise, Ben said with a smile in his voice. My specialty. Without waiting for further discussion, Ben phased through the ship's hull into open space. The vacuum and cold meant nothing to his cosmic form as he floated between the rust bucket and the approaching collector ships. Motion to defend our friends and ourselves, Ben said in the void. Seconded, Serena said immediately. Agreed, Bellicus added. These collectors need a lesson in humility. With perfect synchronization between the three consciousnesses, Ben raised his hands. Reality warped around the lead collector ship, space folding to redirect its momentum. The massive vessel suddenly found itself moving perpendicular to its intended course, nearly colliding with one of its companions. Alarms blared across the collector fleet as they scrambled to compensate. Ben didn't give them time. With another gesture, he created localized time distortions around their weapons systems, causing targeting computers to lag and energy weapons to fire in slow motion. That should keep them busy, Ben said to himself, watching as the Rust Bucket 3 accelerated toward the moon's surface. Now to make sure they follow me instead. Ben flew directly toward the lead ship, becoming a starry streak against the darkness. The collectors responded as he'd hoped, all three vessels turning to pursue him and leaving the path clear for his friends. Grand Curator Vex's voice boomed from external speakers. Magnificent. Such control of cosmic forces. You will be the centerpiece of my collection, Tennyson. You'd have to catch me first, Ben called back, though he knew they couldn't hear him in the vacuum of space. The ships launched small, fast interceptors, dozens of them, each piloted by a collector hunter equipped with specialized capture gear. They swarmed toward Ben like insects, weaving complex patterns designed to box him in. Inside the void, Bellicus scoffed. These creatures think their toys can contain us. Let's not underestimate them, Ben cautioned. They hunt rare species for a living. They must have something that works on powerful beings. As if confirming his fears, the lead interceptor fired not a conventional weapon but a device that expanded into a glowing net of energy. Where it touched the vacuum of space, reality itself seemed to distort. Reality dampening field, Serena identified. It can temporarily suppress a Celestialcipian's connection to cosmic forces. That's not good, Ben muttered, dodging as the net expanded toward him. More interceptors fired similar devices, creating an interlocking web of dampening fields. Ben weaved between them, using short, controlled bursts of reality manipulation to stay ahead of the net. They're hurting us, Bellicus realized. Limiting our movement options. Then let's change the game, Ben replied. Instead of continuing to flee, Ben suddenly reversed direction, flying straight toward the nearest interceptor. The pilot, surprised by this tactic, veered off course. Ben seized the opportunity, touching the small ship as he passed and transforming it, not drastically, but enough that its dampening net launcher became a bubble machine. The collector pilot stared in confusion as his fearsome weapon began spewing iridescent bubbles into space. Motion to create a distraction, Ben said in the void. Elaboration required, Bellicus demanded. Something flashy and harmless that will keep their attention while our friends reach the surface, Ben explained. Seconded, Serena said with amusement coloring her voice. Very well, Bellicus agreed reluctantly. But nothing undignified. Ben concentrated, drawing on Alien X's power. The stars on his black skin glowed brighter, and suddenly the space between him and the collector fleet filled with cosmic butterflies, thousands of them, each one a miniature galaxy of swirling stars. They fluttered through the void, completely impossible in the vacuum of space yet undeniably present. The collector ships paused their pursuit, sensors overwhelmed by the display. The butterflies swirled around their hulls, leaving trails of stardust that temporarily scrambled their tracking systems. Ben used the distraction to check on the Rust Bucket 3. The ship had safely reached the moon's surface, landing in a crater near the source of the Celestialcipian signature. Time to join them, Ben decided, turning away from the confused collector fleet. Before he could move, a new weapon fired from the lead ship, not a net this time, but a beam of energy unlike anything Ben had encountered. It struck him directly, and for a moment, his cosmic awareness dimmed. The void trembled, the geometric patterns fluctuating wildly. "What's happening?" Ben gasped, feeling his connection to Alien X's powers weaken. "They're using Chronosapien technology," Serena realized. "Disrupting our temporal connection." "This should not be possible," Bellicus growled, actual concern in his voice. The beam maintained its connection to Ben, and he felt himself being pulled toward the collector ship. Inside the vessel, he could see an elaborate containment chamber waiting, its walls lined with the same technology generating the beam. "Motion to escape," Ben said urgently. "We cannot," Serena replied, her voice strained. "The temporal disruption prevents consensus. Our powers are limited." "Then we use what we have left," Ben said, focusing what remained of his cosmic awareness. The Omnitrix symbol on his chest pulsed suddenly, glowing brighter than ever before. Green energy spread across his starry form, and for a moment, Ben felt that strange connection again, the seed planted by the architect responding to his desperation. No, he thought fiercely. Not like this. Not on someone else's terms. With tremendous effort, he redirected the energy, not fighting it but guiding it. The green light stabilized, and suddenly Ben could feel a new kind of power, not the reality warping of Alien X, but something more focused, more specific to his situation. With a burst of energy, he broke free from the tractor beam, the disruption field shattering around him. The collector ship rocked from the feedback, systems temporarily overloading. Ben didn't waste the opportunity. He streaked toward the moon, leaving confused collectors and cosmic butterflies behind. The moon's surface was a barren, rocky landscape under a thin atmosphere. Craters pockmarked the terrain, evidence of countless impacts over millennia. In one such crater, larger than the others, the Rust Bucket 3 sat with its ramp extended. Ben found Gwen and Kevin following a handheld scanner, picking their way across the uneven ground. They wore lightweight environmental suits that protected them from the moon's harsh conditions. "There you are," Gwen called as Ben descended. "We were getting worried." "The collectors are better equipped than we expected," Ben said. "They've got technology that can actually suppress Celestialsapien powers." "That's terrifying," Kevin commented. "Guess that explains how they hunt cosmic entities." "They'll be following me soon," Ben warned. "Where's our mysterious friend?" Gwen pointed to a cave entrance at the crater's edge. "Signals coming from in there. It's strong but strange. Different from yours." "Different how?" "More pure. Less mixed with other energy signatures." She studied her scanner. "Whatever it is, it's definitely powerful." "Let's not keep it waiting," Ben said, floating toward the cave. The entrance was narrow, forcing Kevin and Gwen to squeeze through while Ben simply phased his cosmic form through the stone. Inside, the cave opened into a larger chamber that seemed to defy the dimensions of the mountain containing it. The walls glittered with crystals that responded to their presence, glowing softly as they passed. The air, what little existed on this moon, felt charged with energy. "This place is artificial," Kevin said, running a hand along the too smooth wall. "Somebody made this." "Or something," Gwen added. They followed the central passage deeper, the signal growing stronger. The tunnel eventually opened into a vast spherical chamber that couldn't possibly fit inside the mountain by any normal laws of physics. The space was filled with stars, not images or projections, but actual stars hanging in miniature throughout the chamber. And in the center floated a Celestialsapien, but unlike any Ben had seen before. Where Alien X was humanoid with 3 horns, this being had a more fluid form, its starry body constantly shifting between shapes. Sometimes it resembled a tree with cosmic branches, other times a spiral galaxy, occasionally a winged creature. The only constants were its black, star-filled appearance and the sense of immense, ancient power. As they entered, the being coalesced into a more defined shape, vaguely humanoid but with multiple arms and no clear face, just a swirling pattern of brighter stars where a head would be. Benjamin Tennyson, it said, its voice resonating directly in their minds rather than through sound. The Omni-Wielder who now wears the face of eternity. I have been expecting you. Inside the void, Bellicus and Serena went completely silent, a reaction that worried Ben more than anything else so far. You know me? Ben asked, approaching cautiously. All who watch the timelines know of you, the being replied. But few have seen what you are becoming. The starry pattern shifted, forming something resembling eyes that studied Ben intently. Fascinating. The forging is already well underway, yet you resist its intended direction. The forging, Gwen repeated. That's what the texts mentioned. The being's attention shifted to her. An Anodite descendant who studies the old ways. Yes, the forging is what your kind might call a metamorphosis. A celestialsapian shaped for purpose. Like what the architect is trying to do to me, Ben said. The being's form rippled, stars briefly flaring brighter. The architect. Yes. An appropriate name for one who builds with the stuff of creation itself. Its focus returned to Ben. You have encountered his servants. Felt his influence through the seed planted in your Omnitrix. Who is he? Ben demanded. What does he want? Questions with many answers, depending on which timeline one observes. The being's form shifted again, becoming more throne-like, as if settling in for a conversation. In all timelines, he is a designer, one who sees flaws in the multiverse and seeks to correct them. By using me, Ben said. By using what you can become, the being corrected. A celestialsapian with human perspective is unique. Potentially valuable. Potentially dangerous. Kevin stepped forward. Not to interrupt the cosmic chat, but we've got collectors on our tail. They'll be here soon. The being made a dismissive gesture, and suddenly the chamber seemed to shift, the entrance disappearing entirely. The hunters will find only empty rock, it said. We exist temporarily adjacent to normal spacetime. Convenient trick, Ben commented. Who are you, exactly? I'm guessing not an ordinary celestialsapian. Correct. I am a watcher. One of those who chose to observe rather than create or destroy. The being's form rippled again. Some of your kind have called us chroniclers. Inside the void, recognition flashed through Bellicus and Serena simultaneously. A watcher, Bellicus whispered, actual awe in his voice. One of the first ones. They observe all timelines, Serena added. Record all possibilities. Ben relayed this to Gwen and Kevin, who looked suitably impressed. So you know what's happening to me? Ben asked the watcher. And how to stop it? I know many possibilities, the watcher replied. In some, you become the architect's perfect tool, reshaping reality according to his vision. In others, you resist and are destroyed. In yet others. It paused. You become something neither he nor you currently envision. Not exactly helpful, Kevin muttered. The watcher's form shifted again, this time extending a limb toward Ben. I can show you the possibilities, if you wish. The paths branching from this moment. Ben hesitated. Last time someone showed me visions, they tried to brainwash me into seeing reality their way. Understandable caution, the watcher acknowledged. I do not seek to influence, only to inform. The choice of path must be yours. Inside the void, Ben consulted with Serena and Bellicus. What do you think? The watchers are neutral observers, Serena said. They take no sides in cosmic conflicts. They also possess knowledge beyond even most celestial sapiens, Bellicus added. This is an unprecedented opportunity. Ben considered a moment longer, then nodded to the watcher. Show me. The watcher's extended limb touched the Omnitrix symbol on Ben's chest. Instantly, Ben's consciousness expanded beyond anything he had experienced before, beyond even Alien X's cosmic awareness. He saw timelines branching in all directions. In one, he became a being of pure energy. The Omnitrix and Alien X fully merged, reshaping reality according to the architect's design. In another, he found a way to separate, returning to human form but forever changed by his experience. In yet another, darker timeline, he became something terrible, a weapon wielded against the very fabric of existence, tearing apart universes to rebuild them in twisted new configurations. And in one particularly bright timeline, he saw himself as something balanced, neither fully celestialsapian nor fully human, but a bridge between cosmic power and mortal perspective, defending the multiverse against the architect's reshaping. The visions faded, leaving Ben reeling from the experience. So many possibilities, he murmured. All potential futures, the Watcher confirmed. Some more probable than others, depending on the choices you make. And the architect? Who is he really? The Watcher's form shifted uneasily. One who was once like you, merged with cosmic power, but who surrendered his original self to that power. He believes the separation of universes is a flaw, that all reality should be interconnected, malleable, subject to a single guiding vision. Gwen concluded. Yes. He has tried many times, many ways, to implement his vision. You are his most promising attempt yet. Because of the Omnitrix, Ben realized. It gives him control he wouldn't have with an ordinary celestialsapian. Precisely. The Watcher moved closer. The seed he planted in your Omnitrix is a connective point, allowing him influence over your transformation, guiding it toward his preferred outcome. Can it be removed? Gwen asked. Not without destroying the Omnitrix entirely, and possibly Benjamin as well, given how integrated it has become with his consciousness. Kevin cursed under his breath. So we're back to square one. Not entirely, the Watcher said. The seed guides but does not control. It suggests a path but cannot force it. Benjamin's resistance has already altered its function, directing the transformation along a different course than the architect intended. Hope flickered in Ben. So I can fight it. You already are, the Watcher confirmed. Your harmony with Serena and Bellicus, cooperation without submission, unity without loss of self, this is not what the architect designed. He sought to subsume the personalities, leaving only power guided by a single consciousness. Which would then be influenced by him, Ben concluded. Yes. Ben considered this information. The corrupted celestialsapian I fought, that was his successful experiment. One of them, the Watcher agreed. A celestialsapian whose personalities were subjugated, leaving a perfect tool. But it lacks the unique properties of your Omnitrix modified form, the ability to bridge realities in ways even celestial sapiens cannot. Why would the architect want that? Gwen asked. What's his endgame? The Watcher's form dimmed slightly. To eliminate the barriers between universes. To create a single, malleable reality where he is the principal architect. A multiverse redesigned according to his aesthetics. That would destroy everything, Ben said, horrified. Universes exist separately for a reason, they operate by different rules, different physical laws. Indeed. The chaos of such a merger would be. The Watcher paused. Incalculable. Except to one with the power to reshape chaos into order. Which is what you would provide him. A tremor ran through the chamber, causing the miniature stars to flicker briefly. We have been discovered, the Watcher said. The collectors are more persistent than anticipated. And better equipped, Ben added, remembering their celestialsapian dampening technology. The chamber shook again, more violently this time. I must relocate, the Watcher said. And so must you. The architect will sense our meeting. His agents will come in greater numbers. Wait, Ben said urgently. How do I fight this? How do I stop the transformation from going the way he wants? The Watcher's form began to dissipate. Stars spreading throughout the chamber. Continue as you have begun. Harmony without surrender. Connection without loss of self. And seek the forge, the place where celestial sapiens are truly defined. The forge? Where is it? Between realities. Beyond normal spacetime. Where creation itself is molded. The Watcher was barely visible now, just a concentration of stars among many. The Architect will try to bring you there on his terms. You must find your own way, on your own terms. With that cryptic advice, the Watcher vanished completely. The chamber began to collapse around them, reality reasserting itself. Time to go, Kevin said unnecessarily, already running for where the exit had been. A new opening appeared in the chamber wall, leading to a tunnel that hadn't existed before. They rushed through it, emerging onto the moon's surface at a different location than where they'd entered, directly beside the Rust Bucket 3. Convenient, Gwen commented. The Watcher's parting gift, Ben said. Let's not waste it. They boarded quickly, Kevin rushing to the controls. The ship's engines fired before the ramp had fully closed, lifting them off the surface just as 3 collector vessels crested the horizon. They look angry, Kevin observed, pushing the engines to maximum. Wouldn't you be, if your prize cosmic butterfly maker got away? Ben asked. Weapon locks blared across their sensors as the collectors opened fire. Energy beams sliced through space around them as Kevin executed evasive maneuvers. We can't outrun all 3 of them, he warned. We don't need to, Ben said. Motion to create a diversion. Inside the void, Serena and Bellicus responded immediately with agreement. Since their encounter with the Watcher, the 3 consciousnesses felt more synchronized than ever, still distinct, still with their own perspectives, but working in perfect harmony. Ben extended his hands, cosmic energy flowing through him. With precise manipulation of reality, he created the illusion of multiple Rust Bucket 3s, each flying in a different direction. Then, as the collectors split up to pursue the phantoms, he folded space around the real ship, creating a shortcut through the fabric of reality. The Rust Bucket 3 shuddered as it passed through the fold, emerging light years away in an instant. Whoa, Kevin said, checking their position. We're already back in Earth's solar system. That's some shortcut. A little trick I've been practicing, Ben said, the effort having barely taxed his growing control of Alien X's powers. Gwen studied him with concern. Ben, what the Watcher showed you, all those possible futures, which one do you think is most likely? Ben was quiet for a moment, considering. I don't know. But I'm not letting the Architect decide. If I'm changing into something new, it'll be something I choose to become. And the forge? Kevin asked. Sounds like that's where this all gets decided. Then that's where we need to go, Ben said decisively. But first, we need more information, and maybe some help. Azimuth? Gwen suggested. Ben nodded. If anyone can understand what's happening to the Omnitrix, it's him. And we need to warn the plumbers about the collectors. They're not going to give up easily, not after seeing what I can do. And the Architect? Kevin asked grimly. He's not going to be happy you're comparing notes with a Watcher. No, Ben agreed. I expect he'll make his move soon. Which means we need to be ready. Inside the void, Serena and Bellicus watched the geometric patterns shifting subtly, becoming more integrated with the starry chaos but not overwhelming it, balance in the making. We are changing, Serena observed. Yes, Bellicus agreed. But not as the Architect intended. Good, Ben thought to them. Let's keep it that way. The plumber headquarters was on high alert when they arrived. Defense systems tracked their approach, and armed guards met them at the landing bay, standard procedure during a level 1 situation. What happened? Ben asked as they were escorted to the command center. Multiple interdimensional incursions, one of the guards explained. Just like you warned us about. Started about an hour ago. In the command center, Magister Tennyson coordinated the response, looking more worn than Ben had seen him in years. His face brightened slightly when he saw them enter. Ben. Thank goodness. We've got situations developing worldwide. The main screen showed a map of Earth with dozens of red dots indicating anomalies. Each one represented a tear in reality, smaller than before, but far more numerous. The architect's making his move, Ben said grimly. That's our assessment, Max agreed. Professor Paradox was here briefly. He said things are accelerating faster than anticipated. Where is he now? Gwen asked. Checking something in another timeline. He seemed concerned about a pattern developing across multiple realities. Max turned to Ben. Did you find what you were looking for? We found a watcher, Ben replied, knowing his grandfather would understand the significance. It showed me possible futures, including what the architect wants to turn me into. Max's expression darkened. And? It's bad, Grandpa. He wants to use me to merge all realities into one that he controls. Ben looked at the map with its spreading red dots. These incursions are just the beginning, softening the boundaries between dimensions. We've managed to contain most of them, Max said. But they keep appearing faster than we can respond. And we've got another problem, Kevin added. The collectors are after Ben now. They've got technology that can actually suppress Celestialsapian powers. Wonderful, Max sighed. Just what we needed, intergalactic big game hunters during an interdimensional crisis. One of the plumbers at a monitoring station called out. Sir. We're receiving a transmission, it's coming through all frequencies simultaneously. Put it on screen, Max ordered. The map disappeared, replaced by an image that made Ben's cosmic form go rigid. The corrupted Celestialsapian he had encountered before floated in what appeared to be the strange chamber from his visions, the place with the central pillar and machinery that seemed both organic and mechanical. Benjamin Tennyson, the corrupted Celestialsapian said, its voice carrying that same metallic undertone. The architect sends greetings. What do you want? Max demanded. Not you, human. This message is for the vessel of convergence. The being's starry eyes fixed on Ben. You have consulted a watcher, an interesting choice. Did it show you the possibilities? The futures branching from this moment? It showed me enough to know I want nothing to do with your boss's plans, Ben replied. The corrupted Celestialsapian made a sound like laughter. As expected. Resistance is part of the process, the catalyst that drives transformation. The architect understands this better than you can imagine. Tell him to back off, Ben said. I'm not becoming his tool. You misunderstand your position. The seed grows. The connection strengthens. Even now, your form evolves toward its ultimate purpose. My form, my rules, Ben countered. The Watcher showed me I can direct this transformation myself. For the first time, the corrupted Celestialsapian showed a flicker of concern. The Watcher has interfered beyond its mandate. No matter. The process has advanced too far to be truly derailed. The being moved aside, revealing the central pillar in the chamber. It pulsed with energy that matched the green flares occasionally emitting from the Omnitrix symbol on Ben's chest. Behold the heart of the forge, the being said. The nexus point from which all reality can be reshaped. The architect has prepared it for millennia, waiting for the perfect vessel to complete the work. Me, Ben said. You are merely the latest candidate. There have been others. The being gestured, and the view widened to show multiple containment units around the chamber, each holding what appeared to be failed experiments, partial celestial sapiens, cosmic entities frozen in various states of transformation. That's what happens when you try to force evolution, Ben said, disgusted. It doesn't work. These were necessary steps. Incomplete realizations of the ultimate goal. The corrupted Celestialsapian turned its attention back to Ben. But you progress beyond all expectations. Your resistance shapes you in ways the architect finds intriguing. Glad he's entertained, Ben said sarcastically. The time approaches for your final transformation. The forge calls to you, you have felt it in your dreams, in the moments between thoughts. The pull toward completion. Ben had felt it, a strange tugging sensation when his guard was down, like something trying to draw him elsewhere. He'd assumed it was just part of his new cosmic awareness. The incursions will continue, the being continued. Reality will thin. And when the moment is right, you will come to the forge, willing or not. And if I resist? Ben challenged. Then those you care about will suffer the consequences of existence between realities, the being said simply. Already the effects begin. The view changed to show scenes from around Earth, people near the incursion points experiencing strange temporal effects. Some aged rapidly, others reverted to childhood. Some flickered between states of existence, partly there and partly elsewhere. This is just the start, the corrupted Celestialsapian warned. As the barriers thin, the effects will spread. Only one with power like yours can stabilize these transitions, only you can prevent the suffering that comes when realities bleed together. You're causing this deliberately, Gwen accused, stepping forward. Threatening innocent people to force Ben to cooperate. The architect merely accelerates what would eventually occur naturally, the being replied. Universes were never meant to remain separate eternally. Their rejoining is inevitable, we simply guide the process. I've heard enough, Max said, signaling the communications officer. Cut this transmission. You cannot silence truth, the corrupted Celestialsapian said, its voice remaining clear despite the plumber's efforts to end the transmission. Benjamin Tennyson, you have one planetary rotation to present yourself at the primary incursion point. After that, the thinning of reality will become irreversible. The transmission finally cut off, leaving the command center in tense silence. He's lying, Kevin said immediately. It's a trap. Of course it's a trap, Gwen agreed. But those people suffering from the incursions, that was real. Ben stared at the map, now back on screen with even more red dots than before. He's forcing my hand. Creating a situation where I have no choice but to go to this forge. There's always a choice, Max said firmly. We'll find another way to contain these incursions. Inside the void, Bellicus and Serena were unusually quiet, considering the situation. The heart of the forge, Bellicus finally said. I thought it merely legend. A place where celestial sapiens are truly defined, Serena added, echoing the Watcher's words. It exists beyond normal spacetime, yet connects to all realities. And the architect controls it? Ben asked them. He has accessed it, Serena corrected. True control of the forge is impossible, it is too fundamental to existence. But with you as his instrument, Bellicus continued, he could reshape what emerges from the forge. Direct the flow of creation itself. Ben relayed this information to the others, who looked increasingly concerned. So we need to keep you away from this forge at all costs, Max concluded. Actually, Ben said slowly, an idea forming, I think I need to go there. What? Several voices exclaimed simultaneously. The Watcher said I need to find the forge on my own terms, not the architect's, Ben explained. If this transformation is going to be completed one way or another, I'd rather do it my way, not let the architect dictate the terms. That's incredibly risky, Gwen protested. You'd be playing right into his hands. Not if we have our own plan, Ben countered. The architect wants me to come alone, desperate, forced by circumstance. What if instead I come prepared, with help? What kind of help? Kevin asked skeptically. No offense, but we're talking about a place beyond normal reality where celestial sapiens are forged. Not exactly somewhere regular people can tag along. You're not regular people, Ben said. Gwen's part anodite, energy beings that exist partially outside normal physics. You, Kevin, can absorb and adapt to almost any material or energy. And we have Plumber Tech, Professor Paradox's knowledge of time and space. It could work, Max said thoughtfully. A calculated risk instead of a forced response. A new voice entered the conversation. An interesting strategy, Benjamin. They turned to see Professor Paradox stepping out of nowhere, his timepiece glowing softly. Professor, Ben greeted him. Nice timing, as always. Time is my specialty, Paradox replied with a slight smile. Though in this case, we have precious little of it. He studied Ben with a scientist's calculating eye. You've changed since I saw you last. The transformation accelerates. Can you help us reach the forge? Ben asked directly. The forge exists at a nexus point between all realities, Paradox said. I can navigate the timelines that lead there, but entering. He paused. That presents certain challenges, even for me. But it's possible. With the right approach, yes. Paradox turned to Gwen. Your Anodite heritage will be crucial. The forge responds to energy beings differently than physical ones. What about me? Kevin asked. Your adaptive abilities may provide protection from the forge's more transformative effects, Paradox told him. Though I would recommend absorbing something particularly stable before we attempt the journey. We'll need equipment, Max said, already planning. Interdimensional communicators, reality anchors. Most technology will fail in proximity to the forge, Paradox warned. Only artifacts specifically designed to function beyond normal spacetime will be reliable. I know just the thing, Max said. Give me an hour. As the others began preparations, Ben floated slightly apart, considering what they were about to attempt. Inside the void, the geometric patterns shifted again, integrating further with the cosmic chaos but maintaining distinct structures, evolution continuing along its own path. Are we doing the right thing? He asked Serena and Bellicus. Going to the forge deliberately. The Watcher's advice was sound, Serena said. Better to face the completion of your transformation on your terms than have it forced upon you. And I, for one, refuse to be subjugated by the architect's design, Bellicus added firmly. Then we're agreed, Ben said. We go to the forge, we complete this transformation our way, and we stop the architect from remaking reality. It will not be easy, Serena cautioned. The forge affects even celestial sapiens profoundly. Its energies are the raw stuff of creation itself. When is it ever easy? Ben replied with a mental smile. But that's never stopped us before. The primary incursion point had formed in a remote desert region, a swirling vortex of energy that connected Earth's reality to somewhere beyond normal spacetime. The area around it had been evacuated, a perimeter established by Plumber forces to keep civilians away from the dangerous reality distortions. Ben floated above the vortex, studying it with his cosmic awareness. Gwen stood beside him on one of her mana platforms, now glowing with enhanced power thanks to charms and artifacts Max had provided. Kevin had absorbed a rare metal from the Plumber vaults, one specifically designed to remain stable across dimensional boundaries. The gateway is still forming, Paradox observed, checking his timepiece. It won't reach full connectivity for another 17 minutes and 38 seconds. Can we use it before then? Ben asked. It would be dangerous, Paradox admitted. But possible. The question is whether we want to arrive before the architect fully expects us. Surprise seems good, Kevin commented, his metallic form gleaming in the desert sun. Agreed, Gwen said. The longer we wait, the more time he has to prepare, and the more people suffer from these incursions. Ben nodded. Then we go now. Everyone ready? They had prepared as best they could in the limited time available. Gwen wore a harness of legerdemain crystals that amplified her magical abilities. Kevin's absorbed material contained traces of Chronosapien technology, giving him limited temporal resistance. Paradox had his timepiece and centuries of experience navigating the spaces between realities. And Ben had something new, a growing awareness of his evolving form and its capabilities, guided by the harmonious balance he developed with Serena and Bellicus. "Remember the plan," Paradox said. "Once we enter the forge, we'll have minimal time before the architect detects our presence. Ben needs to reach the heart of the forge, the central pillar we saw in the transmission. That's where the transformation will either be completed according to the architect's design or redirected toward a new outcome." "And we run interference," Kevin said, cracking his metallic knuckles. "Keep his corrupted Celestialsapian buddy and whatever other minions he has off Ben's back. While I try to stabilize the surrounding reality," Gwen added. "Prevent him from using the incursions against us." "Precisely," Paradox confirmed. "I'll navigate and provide temporal support where possible, but my abilities may be limited inside the forge itself." Ben took a final look at Earth, the world he protected so many times in so many forms. Whatever happened in the forge would change him permanently, completing the transformation that had begun when he got stuck as Alien X. He hoped he'd still recognize himself when it was over. "Let's do this," he said. Paradox checked his timepiece one last time, then nodded. "On my mark, Ben will open the vortex fully, and we'll all enter together. 3, 2, 1, mark." Ben extended his hands toward the swirling incursion point, reaching with Alien X's power to connect with the reality beyond. The vortex responded, expanding rapidly until it formed a tunnel of swirling energy large enough for them all to enter. "Now!" Paradox called. They plunged into the vortex together, Ben leading, Gwen and Kevin flanking him, Paradox bringing up the rear. The sensation was unlike any interdimensional travel they had experienced before. It felt like moving through layers of reality itself, each one thinner than the last, until they passed beyond the boundaries of normal existence entirely. The tunnel of energy stretched before them, seemingly endless. Strange shapes and patterns formed in its swirling walls, echoes of realities they passed near but did not enter. "Stay focused," Paradox called from behind them. The forge tries to distract travelers, to pull them into tangential realities. Ben concentrated on their destination, using his cosmic awareness to navigate the twisting pathways. Inside the void, Serena and Bellicus helped, their knowledge of cosmic geography proving invaluable. "There!" Ben called finally, pointing ahead to where the tunnel widened into a vast chamber glowing with energy. They emerged from the vortex into a space that defied comprehension. The chamber they had seen in the transmission was merely a small portion of a structure so vast it seemed infinite. The walls, floor, and ceiling, if such terms even applied, were formed of ever-shifting patterns of energy that resembled both organic tissue and mechanical components simultaneously. And at the center, rising like a pillar of pure creation, stood the heart of the forge, a column of energy that connected to countless branching pathways leading to other realities. "Whoa," Kevin breathed, his voice distorted by the strange properties of the place. "Focus," Gwen reminded him, her hands already glowing with protective magic as she established a stable zone around them. Ben felt a strange resonance the moment they entered the forge. The Omnitrix symbol on his chest pulsed in rhythm with the heart, green energy flowing between them. The seed planted by the architect responded to this place, trying to complete the transformation according to its programming. Inside the void, the geometric patterns accelerated their integration with the cosmic chaos, but Ben, Serena, and Bellicus fought to maintain their balance, their distinct identities in harmonious cooperation rather than forced merger. "He comes," a voice announced, and they turned to see the corrupted Celestialsapian floating toward them from across the chamber. "The vessel arrives ahead of schedule." "Interesting." Behind it came other figures, similar corrupted beings, though less fully formed, the experiments they had glimpsed in the transmission. And beyond them, a presence Ben could feel more than see, the architect himself, observing from somewhere just beyond normal perception. "Welcome to the forge, Benjamin Tennyson," the corrupted Celestialsapian said. "The place where you will be completed." "The only thing being completed today is your boss's plan," Ben replied. "It ends here." Brave words. The being gestured, and reality warped around them. The stable zone Gwen had created fractured slightly before she reinforced it, pouring more magical energy into its boundaries. "Go, Ben," she shouted, her eyes glowing with anodite power. "Get to the heart. We'll handle these guys." Kevin stepped forward, his metallic form shifting to create weapons from his arms. "Like old times, huh? Us against impossible odds. Would we have it any other way?" Gwen replied with a fierce smile. Paradox checked his timepiece. "The temporal disruptions are beginning. I'll try to maintain our connection to normal space-time, but hurry, Benjamin." Ben nodded gratefully to his friends, then turned toward the heart of the forge. The corrupted Celestialcipian moved to intercept him, but Kevin launched himself forward, slamming into the cosmic entity with surprising effect, his absorbed material somehow able to interact with the Celestialcipian's form. "Impossible," the corrupted being hissed. "No physical matter should affect me. I'm special that way," Kevin grinned, landing another blow. Gwen created barriers of mana to contain the lesser corrupted entities, her anodite heritage allowing her magic to function in this beyond-reality space. Paradox moved between points, appearing and disappearing as he manipulated what little time existed in this timeless place to their advantage. Ben seized the opportunity, flying directly toward the heart of the forge. As he approached, the connection grew stronger, the Omnitrix symbol pulsing rapidly, green energy flowing between it and the pillar of creation. "Yes," came a voice that seemed to emanate from everywhere at once. "Come, vessel. Complete the convergence." The architect, speaking directly now, no longer through proxies. His presence pressed against Ben's consciousness, vast and ancient and utterly convinced of its own correctness. "I'm not your vessel," Ben called out, continuing his approach. "I make my own destiny." "All destinies converge here," the voice replied. "All paths lead to this moment. Your resistance was anticipated. Calculated. Part of the process." Ben reached the base of the heart, feeling its energy washing over him. The transformation accelerated instantly, the integration of his form with Alien X's power, with the Omnitrix, with the cosmic awareness of a Celestialcipian. The void within him shifted dramatically, geometric patterns flowing into cosmic chaos, distinctions blurring. "No." Ben fought to maintain the balance, to keep Serena and Bellicus distinct yet harmonized with his own consciousness. "Not like this. Resistance is futile," the architect's voice boomed. "The seed grows. The forging completes." Inside the void, Ben reached for Serena and Bellicus, finding them struggling against the overwhelming force of the heart's energy. Motion to resist the architect's design, Ben called desperately. "Seconded," Serena managed, her voice strained. "Agreed," Bellicus added weakly. Their consensus created a momentary bubble of resistance against the transformation, but the heart's energy was overwhelming. The seed planted by the architect guided the process relentlessly toward its intended outcome, the creation of a perfect tool for reshaping reality. Across the chamber, Ben's friends fought valiantly against the corrupted entities. Gwen's barriers held against most attacks, but the sheer number of opponents was forcing her to divide her attention. Kevin fought the primary corrupted Celestialcipian to a standstill, his adapted form proving surprisingly effective, but he couldn't maintain the effort indefinitely. Paradox flickered between locations, but each jump seemed to take more effort as the temporal distortions increased. "Ben!" Gwen called. "Whatever you're going to do it fast. We can't hold them much longer." Ben turned back to the heart, its energy now engulfing him completely. The transformation had reached a critical point, soon it would be irreversible, completing along the architect's design. "I need another way," Ben gasped, fighting to think clearly through the overwhelming force of creation energy. And then he remembered what the Watcher had said, "Continue as you have begun. Harmony without surrender. Connection without loss of self." In that moment of clarity, Ben understood. The architect's design called for merger without distinction, a blending that erased individual identity in favor of unified purpose. But there was another possibility: the balance Ben had been developing with Serena and Bellicus all along. Instead of fighting the transformation entirely, Ben changed his approach. He opened himself to it, but with a crucial difference, directing it toward harmony rather than merger, toward cooperation rather than subjugation. Serena, Bellicus, he called in the void. Don't resist the transformation, redirect it. Shape it with me. The two personalities understood immediately. Together, the three consciousnesses worked in perfect synchronization, not to stop the integration but to guide it, to create a new form of existence where they remained distinct yet perfectly harmonized. The heart of the forge responded to this unexpected approach. The green energy flowing between it and the Omnitrix symbol changed character, becoming more balanced, less forced. The seed planted by the architect tried to reassert control, but the unified will of Ben, Serena, and Bellicus overwhelmed its programming. "No," the architect's voice thundered. "This is not the design. This is not the purpose." "It's my purpose," Ben countered, his voice stronger now as the transformation continued along the new path. "My design. Not yours." The energy around Ben intensified, the transformation accelerating toward completion. But now it followed a different blueprint, one created through the harmonious cooperation of three distinct wills rather than the subjugation of two by one. The Omnitrix symbol pulsed one final time, then stabilized, still embedded in Ben's chest but now fully integrated with his cosmic form, neither controlling nor controlled but working in perfect balance. Inside, the void transformed as well. The geometric patterns and cosmic chaos flowed together but maintained their distinct characters, creating a space that was both ordered and free, structured and limitless, a perfect reflection of the three consciousnesses that inhabited it. "This cannot be," the architect's voice raged. "The seed was perfect. The design flawless." "You forgot one thing," Ben said, his voice resonating with new power as the transformation completed. "Free will. The choice to define ourselves." Ben turned away from the heart, facing the chamber where his friends still fought. With a gesture born of his new integrated power, neither fully celestialsapian nor fully human but something unprecedented, he froze the corrupted entities in place. "Enough," he said, the word carrying the weight of reality itself. The corrupted celestialsapian struggled against Ben's control. "Impossible. Your transformation is incomplete. The architect's design has failed," Ben finished. "I am not what he intended me to become. I am something new." Ben's form had changed subtly. Still resembling Alien X but with differences, the stars in his black skin moved in more complex patterns, the green of the Omnitrix now integrated throughout his form rather than concentrated in the symbol, and an aura of balanced energy surrounding him. "What have you done?" the architect's voice demanded, true concern evident for the first time. "Created a third option," Ben replied. "Not your tool, not trapped between forms, but something balanced, a bridge between cosmic power and human perspective that belongs to neither and both." The architect's presence seemed to coalesce, becoming almost visible as a vast, shifting form beyond normal perception. "The forge cannot be defied. The transformation cannot be redirected." "Looks like it just was," Kevin called out, stepping back from the frozen corrupted celestialsapian. Gwen lowered her barriers cautiously, moving to join Ben. "It worked. The transformation is complete." "Yes," Ben said, his voice carrying new depth but still recognizably his own. "But not as the architect intended." Inside the balanced void, Serena and Bellicus existed in harmony with Ben's consciousness, still distinct personalities but perfectly synchronized, each enhancing rather than competing with the others. "You cannot maintain this form," the architect insisted. "It is unstable. Unauthorized. The forge will reject it." "I don't think so," Paradox said, appearing beside them. "What Ben has created is actually more stable than your design, architect. A balanced system always outlasts a forced one." The architect's presence rippled with what might have been rage. "Millennia of planning. Countless experiments. All disrupted by a human child's stubbornness. That's me, Ben said with a hint of his old smile in his voice. Stubbornly saving reality since I was 10 years old. He turned his attention to the heart of the forge, extending his newly balanced power toward it. Now, let's fix what you've broken. No, the architect cried. The convergence must proceed. The barriers must fall. Motion to repair the damage to reality, Ben said in the void. Seconded, Serena replied instantly. Agreed, Bellicus added. With perfect harmony guiding his actions, Ben connected with the heart of the forge. Through it, he could sense all the incursion points the architect had created, the thinning barriers between realities, the suffering caused as universes bled into each other. Drawing on the heart's power and directing it through his balanced form, Ben began to restore the natural order, strengthening barriers, closing incursions, healing the damage done to the multiverse's structure. No, the architect raged. You cannot undo my work. Watch me, Ben replied, continuing the restoration. The architect's presence surged forward, attempting to interfere directly. The corrupted celestial sapiens broke free from their temporary paralysis, moving to stop Ben. We've got this, Gwen said, raising new barriers. Finish what you started. Kevin engaged the primary corrupted celestial sapien again. Round 2, Cosmic Boy. Paradox flickered around the chamber, disrupting the lesser entities with precise temporal manipulations. Hurry, Benjamin. The forge's connection to Earth is destabilizing as you repair the incursions. Ben focused entirely on his task, channeling the heart's energy through his balanced form to heal reality. The process accelerated as he grew more accustomed to his new abilities, the perfect harmony between human intuition, Serena's compassion, and Bellicus's decisiveness allowing him to work with unprecedented precision. The architect made a final, desperate attempt to stop him. You cannot escape the forge without my permission. Complete your work and you trap yourself here eternally. Nice try, Ben replied, not slowing his efforts. But I'm not the same being who entered this place. I'm something new, something that can exist both here and in normal reality. As if to demonstrate, Ben created a new pathway, a stable connection between the forge and Earth that wouldn't damage the barriers between realities. Everyone, time to go, he called to his friends. Gwen and Kevin disengaged from their opponents, rushing toward the pathway Ben had created. Paradox appeared beside them, checking his timepiece with a satisfied nod. Most impressive, Benjamin, he said. A perfectly stable interdimensional corridor. Even I couldn't have done better. The architect's rage was palpable as Ben completed his work, the last incursion sealing, reality stabilizing across the multiverse. This is not the END, the entity promised. The multiverse is flawed. Separation is unnatural. I will find another way. And we'll be waiting, Ben replied, backing toward the pathway where his friends stood ready to depart. The corrupted celestial sapien made one final attempt to stop them, charging toward the pathway. Ben raised a hand, cosmic power flowing from his balanced form. You don't belong here either, he told the corrupted being. You were forced into this form, just as the architect tried to force me. With a gesture born of compassion as much as power, Ben altered the corrupted celestial sapien, not destroying it but freeing it from the architect's control, restoring the balance between its personalities. The being froze in shock as its form shifted, the mechanical components embedded in its cosmic body dissolving as its natural state reasserted itself. What have you done? It asked, its voice no longer carrying that metallic undertone. Set you free, Ben replied simply. The rest is up to you. With that, Ben joined his friends at the pathway. With a final look at the heart of the forge, the place where his transformation had been completed, though not as intended, Ben led them back to Earth. The architect's frustrated cry echoed behind them as they traversed the stable corridor Ben had created, returning to their own reality with a new understanding of the cosmic forces that shaped existence, and with Ben forever changed, balance between human and celestial sapien in a way no being had been before. This is not over, Benjamin Tennyson. The convergence will come. Maybe someday, Ben thought as they emerged onto Earth's surface once more. But it will be on reality's terms, not yours. The desert around them was calm, the incursion point gone, reality restored to its proper state. The sun was setting, painting the sky in colors that seemed more vivid, more meaningful than before. Inside the balanced void, Serena and Bellicus watched with Ben as his friends celebrated their return, their victory. The three consciousnesses existed in perfect harmony now, distinct yet unified, separate yet connected, balanced in a way the architect had never envisioned. So, Kevin said, looking up at Ben's transformed form. Still stuck as Alien X, but different. Not just Alien X anymore, Ben replied. Something new. Balanced. And the Omnitrix? Gwen asked, gesturing to the green energy now integrated throughout his cosmic form. Part of me now. Completely integrated, but not controlling or controlled. Just, balanced. Paradox checked his timepiece with satisfaction. Reality is stabilizing nicely. The incursions are sealed, the barriers restored. A most productive day's work. And the architect? Max asked over their comms. Is he defeated? Ben looked toward the sunset, sensing the vastness beyond it, the multiverse of separate realities, each distinct yet connected in complex ways. Not defeated, he replied honestly. Just set back. He'll try again someday, find another approach. And we'll be ready, Gwen said firmly. We will, Ben agreed. But for now. He gazed up at the stars beginning to appear in the evening sky, stars that were now both distant points of light and places he could perceive in detail. For now, I have a lot to learn about this new form. About what I've become. And what exactly is that? Kevin asked. What do we call you now? Still Ben. Alien X Plus. Cosmic Ben. Ben chuckled, the sound resonating strangely through his transformed being. Just Ben. I'm still me, just with some extra parts to my personality. Inside the balanced void, Serena and Bellicus stirred with amusement. Some extra parts indeed, Bellicus commented dryly. We are more than parts, Serena corrected gently. We are aspects of a whole. A balanced whole, Ben agreed silently. Something the architect never understood. As night fell fully over the desert, Ben Tennyson, transformed, balanced, but still fundamentally himself, floated beside his friends, watching the stars come out one by one. The universe felt different now, seen through his new perspective. Both larger and smaller. Both more complex and simpler. And somewhere beyond normal perception, he could sense the architect's frustrated presence, planning, waiting for another opportunity. But Ben wasn't worried. Whatever came next, he would face it not alone but in perfect harmony, a balance of human perspective and cosmic power that made him neither one thing nor the other, but something uniquely his own. The forging was complete, but not as designed. The seed had grown, but into a tree of its own choosing. And Ben Tennyson, once a normal boy who found an alien watch, had become something beyond normal comprehension, yet remained, at his core, exactly who he had always been, a hero, a protector, a friend. Just with a lot more cosmic awareness and 2 extra personalities to argue with about what to watch on TV. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.